66 million years ago, the sky didn't just fall. The ocean rose to reclaim the entire prehistoric world.
Our journey follows the Scarred King, a massive T-Rex with a distinct deep mark across his left eye. He stood at the edge of a lush coastal valley, unaware that the starting point of extinction had
arrived. Far out in the Gulf, the asteroid had struck, sending a wall of water moving at jet speed.
The first sign was the water retreating. The ocean floor lay bare, fish gasping in the sudden dryness. The Scarred King watched in confusion. The silence was heavier than any roar he had ever heard before.
Then, a low rumble turned into a roar that shook the very mountains. The Dinosaur Flood was here. It wasn't just water. It was a slurry of mud, boulders, and uprooted forests, moving like a machine.
The Scarred King turned to run. His powerful legs pushed against the earth, but the water was faster.
Thousands of herbivores were swept away instantly. Their screams were drowned by the thundering weight of the flood. This was the burial disaster. Creatures were not just drowning, they were being buried alive under tons of sediment. The flood acted as a giant concrete mixer, preserving the bodies for millions of years to come.
The Scarred King reached a high ridge. He looked back at his kingdom, now a churning graveyard of mud. The water reached his feet, cold and thick, with the debris of a world that was dying.
The impact shockwave finally arrived, hitting the floodwaters and creating massive, boiling steam geysers in every direction. Rain began to fall, but it wasn't water. It was molten rock and ash, cooling into glass as it
fell.
He saw a mother triceratops struggling to keep her infant above the rising tide of mud and rocks.
In this moment, there were no predators, only victims of a planet that had turned against its children. The flood moved inland for hundreds of miles, crossing plains and climbing the foothills of the Great Mountains. Scientists call this the event bed, a single layer of Earth that holds the secrets of this final
day. The burial disaster ensured that these giants would be frozen in time, exactly where they fell. As the hours passed, the water began to settle. But the air was now thick with toxic gases. The Scarred King was alone. The silence of the flood was more terrifying than the roar of impact. He tried to walk, but the ground was now a trap of quicksand-like mud, pulling at his weight. Every movement was a battle. The king of dinosaurs was being defeated by the very soil he ruled. Above him, the moon was eclipsed by a cloud of ash that would stay for several long years. This was the starting point of the Great Dark. The flood was just the opening act of extinction. The Scarred King laid his head down. The heat was gone, replaced by a biting, unnatural, freezing cold. Millions of tons of debris now lay over the Dinosaur Valley, creating a tomb of epic, global proportions. But why was this flood so unique? It was the result of the Earth's crust ringing like a... The energy forced the oceans to jump their boundaries, creating a disaster unlike anything seen since then.
This burial disaster is why we find so many fossils grouped together in strange, twisted, final positions today.
The Scarred King's story ended here, but his remains would wait 66 million years to tell the truth. A truth about a day when the water rose and the world of the giants simply vanished.
We are the witnesses to their end. The flood was the reset button for all life on Earth.
From the burial of the giants came the birth of a new world. A world meant for us.
For more epic recreations of Earth's greatest disasters, follow Eclesso.